So we're going to be looking at factorising expressions, and we'll be doing this over a sequence of short videos. So for the first part, we'll be focusing exclusively on factorising monic trinomials and non-monic trinomials. So with the first part, let's have a look at factorising a monic trinomial. So monic is referring to the fact that the coefficient of the x squared term is equal to 1. Now we know that our trinomials generally take on the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So what we're referring to with monic is the fact that that a is equal to 1. We know that a can be any other number as well. However, for monic trinomials, we're focusing exclusively on the concept that a is equal to 1. Now, what we want to do when we are factorising monic trinomials is to identify the factors that multiply to give us c. So the factors that will multiply to give us this here, but these factors must also add to give us b. So let's have a look at applying this concept or this theory into practice. So we've been asked to factorise the expression x squared minus 10x plus 24. So if we identify each of our features, first of all, we know it's monic because the coefficient of the x squared term is 1. B here is equal to negative 10. And C here is equal to positive 24. So the fact that this is equal to positive 24 and b is a negative number implies that our two factors must be negative. So we're looking for two negative numbers. When they add together, they equal negative 10, but when multiplied together, we get positive 24. So now thinking of our numbers, going to say that they're negative 6 and negative 4. And let's do the tests and see. If they add to give negative 10, so negative 6 minus 4 will give us negative 10, and negative 6 times negative 4 will give us that positive 24. Therefore, our two factors written in factorised form will look like the following. So x minus 6 and then x minus 4. So that means that the factorised form of x squared minus 10x plus 24 is bracket x minus 6 times x minus 4. Now, if you want to check that your factorising technique was correct, you can always go back and expand your answer. So being that we've been asked to factorise, you can always go ahead and expand that and see whether your expanded answer matches the original question. So now we're going to be looking at factorising a non-monic trinomial. So a non-monic trinomial is referring to the fact that the coefficient of the x squared term is no longer 1. So previously we looked at factorising a monic trinomial, and that was when a was equal to 1. But this time we've introduced an element of difficulty here in that the coefficient of the x squared term is no longer 1. So what we then need to do is we need to factorise this expression by using a concept called grouping. So a quadratic trinomial, for example, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, can also be rewritten as y equals ax squared plus mx plus nx plus c. Now the assumption here is that m plus n, so that's referring to that m and that n, when they're added together, they will equal b. So m and n are factors of a times c that will add to give b. So now what we're going to do is look at applying this very general understanding or these general theories into a more practical component. So let's have a look at the expression 6x squared minus 11x minus 10. So what I would start by doing is multiplying the coefficient of the x squared term, so that's 6, and the negative 10 together. So that's a times c will be 6 times negative 10, so that'll give us negative 60. We then need to identify the factors m and n that add to b. So at the moment, b is negative 11, or negative 11x, sorry. So we need to identify what are the factors that multiply to give us negative 60, but will add to give us negative 11. So thinking about the fact that it's our c is a negative number and our b is a negative number, this suggests that m or n has to be a negative number. Now thinking about our factors, I'm going to say that m is equal to negative 15 and n is equal to 4. The reason being, if you multiply those two together, you will get negative 60, and if you add negative 15 plus 4, you will get negative 11. So therefore, I'm going to rewrite the original expression now in the way that we could rewrite it, so the way I've just highlighted there. So I'm going to write 6x squared minus 15x plus 4x minus 10. Now, just take note to realize that I have not changed the essence of the actual expression at all. All I've done is I've rewritten negative 11x in a more expanded form, if you will. So we know that if we were to simplify our like terms with the expression here, that negative 15x plus 4x will simplify to give us negative 11x. It's important that you do check that when you do expand that it still adds to give, or it still simplifies to give us our original b value. If it doesn't, it means that you've actually changed the expression that you were originally asked to factorize. So now what we're going to do is basically create a combination of terms together and factorize them separately. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to factorize, I'm going to put it around a bracket, color I choose green. So I'm going to factorize those two together and factorize those two together. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to factorize the first bracket, so that'll be 3x, leaving us with 2x minus 5. Then factorizing my second bracket, I will have so now factorizing by the grouping method, I'm going to have or end up with 2x minus 5 and then 3x plus 2. So what we've just done is we have factorized the original expression, which was 6x squared minus 11x minus 10, and in its factorized form it will be 2x minus 5 times 3x plus 2. Now if you want to check that you are correct, or that your factorizing was correct, you can always go ahead and expand that and see whether your final answer matches the original expression given to you. And that's it for factorizing monic and non-monic trinomials.